Last week, when I was working on my beauty YouTube and overconsumption video, I came across some interesting stats that led to this video. I learned that 40% of millennials and 52% of Gen Z made purchases as a direct result of social media, purchases that they wouldn't have ordinarily made. There's also a stat that I saw repeated a lot that says something like 68% of people bought something as a direct result of an influencer. And I saw this stat floating around on multiple channels and multiple articles, I should say, from this year. Articles published in 2024. And when I went to go look at where they sourced their information from, this stat is kind of old in my opinion. It's 2019 and it's not as relevant today as it was 5 years ago, because 5 years on social media and in internet culture, so much changes. These pieces of information can give us a snapshot or lead us into a specific direction, but ultimately don't give us the answers that we might be looking for. Asking somebody if they've ever been influenced to purchase something as a result of an influencer or social media isn't entirely the same thing as asking somebody if they have been influenced in the last 12 months or the last 6 months, or asking somebody to recall who influenced them to buy it. Maybe not necessarily creating a report on which influencers have influenced the most, but asking people to cognitively make connections. Because what I think happens in some of the cases are that people conflate social media with a specific influencer, because we can be influenced on an individual direct level. X influencer influenced me to buy something. And in other cases, we can be influenced because we've seen X product circulating on social media. And there isn't a specific influencer that impacted us or influenced us on an individual level, but seeing something repeated so often or seen so frequently can be the influence in and of itself. And when we look at scholarly studies as well, what is often researched is the general impact of social media. So just as an example, the influence of teens' perception of alcohol, or social media's influence on getting healthy, or social media's impact on depression and self-esteem. And what is researched is social media as this amorphous entity, this general thing of social media, opposed to specific examples of influence. So I've been wondering, is our perception of influencers' influence overblown? And how or what are the ways in which we as digital media consumers or digital media viewers, social media viewers, how are we influenced? We're going to talk about these different types or these different levels today. So let's start off with direct influence. And by direct influence, I mean the situations or contexts in which we can recall a specific influencer influencing our buying behavior. This does happen, and I want to hear from you in the comments as we go through the different types of influence, which for you tends to be the most common. When it comes to this individual influence, sometimes we might be interested in a product. Let's say we are looking for, or we're looking for earrings. I am wearing some today. We're looking for earrings. And you search up a brand or you search up a product and you watch several reviews. And let's say you watch 5 reviews and it's the 5th review that makes you go, you know what? I think this is for me. You click and you buy the product. I think this happens a great deal when we are interested in making a purchase. A lot of us want to do our due diligence and we want to take a look-see at what's out there. And perhaps this also happens when we're just looking at stuff for fun. I know that I came across an Everlane video, 2019. I think that was the first time I ever heard of Everlane. And I watched many Everlane videos as a result of watching this for fun purchase. or this one person, Hall Everlane, and it was like my 10th Everlane video that made me finally click through and watch Everlane. It wasn't necessarily research. It was something that started off as entertainment, and I just wanted to watch more people haul Everlane, and I eventually made a purchase. The person who sold me wasn't a big influencer. She was fairly small, I think around 10,000 subscribers or less. And she was doing reviews to give people an idea of how Everlane clothes fit their mid-sized body. And she was very thorough in her review. And I think that was what pushed me over the edge personally. Hearing her compare different styles of Everlane jeans, or comparing her size in Everlane, or like, let's say she bought a 30, comparing the 30 in Everlane to a 30 in whatever other brand she was wearing. People can also subscribe to specific creators because they want to be influenced by them, or they enjoy the influence or the impact that this creator has on them. When I was first getting into the beauty community in 2014, I would watch videos and I would bring a literal notepad and a pen to these videos. I was eating everything up. I wanted to know all the techniques. I wanted to know all the products that were good. I wanted all of the information. And I also wanted to know what was hot and new and exciting. I remember very vividly watching a video from Tati on how to self-tan. And until that time, I'd only ever used like that Jergens gradual tan. I think it was like the Daily Glow, and like you would apply the moisturizer every day. I didn't know about self-tanning. I didn't really know what it was or how to do it. And I watched her video with literal taking notes about how to self-tan. I didn't know that you were supposed to exfoliate and shave and then moisturize specific areas. I didn't know that. And so I bought the exfoliator that she recommended. I bought the tanning mitt, and I'm also pretty sure I bought the exact self-tanner that she had. I do know that I looked at self-tanners for a while, and everybody was talking about the Loving Tan, which was super hard to get into Canada. And I don't know if she mentioned Loving Tan or if I eventually was looking at comparing self-tanners and somebody else mentioned it and then came onto her video because it was an alternative. But it was something like that. And for a long time, I was fucking orange. I'm going to show you a photo. This isn't from 2014. This is from 2016. This is me. Self-tan to high heavens. I'm a fairly pale gal. I'm wearing a foundation that's maybe yeah, you can see it's too dark for me today. And I went a little ham on the darker foundation. I was like a medium in a shade range. What are we doing? And I think it's made worse by the super light blonde hair. I can say though, I thought I was so cute. You could not have told me that this look wasn't looking. I was very much loving it. I watched Nakia Joy's foundation reviews because we had very similar skin type, and I would basically blind buy whatever she recommended, and she rarely steered me wrong. I was somebody who went to specific people to be influenced. For many years, Tati was my favorite. I knew when she posted videos, and I would be waiting, refreshing. What's the new video? And I was there when she was posting 5 videos a week. I watched Emily Noel a lot right at the beginning of my video YouTube days. And I was somebody who wanted to be influenced. I wanted to buy stuff. And we still see that today. There are still many people in communities, whether it's TikTok or YouTube, people who want to be influenced, people who want to buy stuff. And we see this when we hear people ask for links for things, consistently watching links in the comments, people saying that they're going to go run out and buy it. And this behavior isn't over. And there are accounts on TikTok who are able to stay afloat almost exclusively through affiliate commission, meaning that their audience is directly buying the things that they're selling from them. Affiliate links are trackable and traceable, so a content creator can know their exact influence they're having on an audience. And affiliate marketing has really boomed over the last 6 years. And I just feel like it's only getting bigger and more lucrative to people. And affiliate marketing is so popular because of the return on investment for brands and for influencers. So here is just some stats on affiliate marketing. For every $1 spent on affiliate marketing, businesses receive an average return on investment of $6.50. So they're like 6xing their investment. Approximately 16% of all online orders within the e-commerce world, this is globally, are generated through affiliate marketing strategies. Approximately 65% of retailers report that affiliate marketing contributes up to 20% of their yearly earnings. And affiliate promotional activities amplifies the average consumer spending by 58%. An influencer speaking on something does have a true impact on our buying behavior. And some of this can come from reviews. And although we have seen some nefarious practices or practices that I just feel like are gross, there are people who genuinely believe that they're having a net positive impact on their subscribers because they are offering reviews. And while reviews, they can be suspicious or they can, maybe not be totally honest, it's hard for me to claim that reviews generally are nefarious. That's not totally fair. I think reviews do play a role in the affiliate links, or at least not just a role, I think a large role. You review something and it's favorable, I think there's a good guess that your audience is going to buy from your review, especially if you've built trust with your audience. And this audience has come to respect and trust your opinion. There are lots of people out there who review stuff for a living, or that is a large portion of their channel, whether that's indie eyeshadow palettes or stationery products from Journal Therapy or from, I was looking at them. I want to say Olive and Archer. They got some cute stuff. You have people who are regularly reviewing video games or regularly reviewing clothing launches for H&M or Zara. Their reviews, even if there's negative stuff in there, for reviewing a collective launch, let's say H&M spring launch, people may come to trust their opinion more when they have mixed reviews. They buy 20 items, maybe 5 of them are shit, they don't recommend, 15 are good. 15 items is still a lot to choose from for a spring launch. And people will go, all right, I'll buy these 15 things. And also I think when you do have negatives, you are hurting people to make a specific choice. I do think that this is only part of the puzzle though. This direct 1-for-1, I saw this on Shauna Rapari's channel, or I saw this on X's channel, so I bought it. Sometimes consumer desire is drummed up as a result of seeing something repeated or spoken about thoroughly online. How many times have you seen in makeup hauls or in stationery hauls or in clothing hauls where people say, I've heard so much good things about it, I wanted to try it? I know I've shown videos or TikToks of people saying those exact words on my channel. And recently, you see 5 or 6 influencers talking about the lip gloss or a specific lip gloss, talking about a specific journal or pen set, or you see something like Sambas. 6 months ago, you're watching fashion influencers and all of a sudden you see one. And then over the next few months, you start seeing them on this channel or this TikToker or this Instagram account. And then all of a sudden you want Sambas, but you can't really recall where you saw it first or who you even saw it on. You just recall seeing a lot of Sambas. I think this represents quite a big portion of how we are influenced. We're seeing something or hearing it mentioned so often that we want to try it too. We want to be part of that cultural experience, or just the repetition of something finally gets into our ear. One of the examples that stands out to me personally is the NYX Vivid Brights palette. And this one stands out so much, despite being from like 7 or 8 years ago, because it was such a bad purchase. I'm going to put the palette on the screen for you because you might not have been around for this, or maybe you forgot about it. It's a rainbow palette. And my makeup preferences have changed, but not like a total 180 across the board over the years. I have literally never worn these colors. I've never worn a yellow. I don't wear greens and blues. I can specifically recall the last time I've worn a green or blue eyeshadow, and it is like twice on the history of this channel. I don't wear greens, let alone this green. I don't wear reds. Like I don't wear these colors. This is the case of seeing this on so many people, being so hyped that I decided that I had to have it too. And I can't recall who I saw it on or where I saw it. I can only recall hearing about it, or the fact that I saw it somewhere. If I gave this 2 seconds of thought, I would have thought or realized that I don't wear these kinds of tones or colors. This meets like none of my expectations or none of my desires for my own eyeshadow palette or my own eyeshadow preferences. I also, around the same time, purchased the NYX liquids. Is it the liquid suede? I think it's liquid suede lipsticks in a purple color. When have you ever seen me wear purple lipsticks on this channel? I'll wait, because the answer is never. I heard so many people talk about this. This was also in the era where I was more into the vampy lip, and I did wear darker lipsticks. I did purchase one that was nearly black as well. I don't know if I can put this photo on the screen, but if I can, it'll be here. And so I did own darker colors, like really dark purple, that I did wear. This was a straight up purple though, I don't wear purple. A much more recent example, which is so funny. Like this might be like the funniest example I could bring. I made, I'm calling myself out so big now. I made a video on the Stanley in May, I think. I watched hundreds of hours of Stanley videos in preparation for that YouTube video. And after all of that video making, I wanted the Stanley. When a few weeks previous to that, I mentioned very publicly that I thought that they were ugly. And I was like, no, actually, I think these are so ugly. I think they're ugly because of the handle. And then they're also ginormous. And within about a 5-week period, I went from thinking these water bottles are ugly as shit to wanting one because I liked them. This was such a case of seeing this thing repeated so often and seeing it so often on socials that I wanted it myself. Did I go out and buy one? No. I also, took another video as impetus to refresh my own water bottle. It's working fine. But this is just, I think, such a perfect case of this. The last level or type of influence is when being on social media or watching specific content influences us to shop, or more specifically, fuels our desire to shop. I found myself recently making a cart on ColourPop, and I was talking to a friend about it, and she was asking me how I got there. And it really made me realize that I was just looking for stuff to want. I hadn't watched any ColourPop videos. Like, I hadn't consumed any ColourPop content, but in the week leading up to that action that I took creating that cart, I had watched videos on Sephora hauls, and I made a video on that. I'd also been watching Amazon content and researching for some other videos as well. And so this general content of watching people haul stuff, try stuff, shop, and be excited about shopping rubbed off on me and made me want to shop as well. It wasn't a one-for-one thing. Amazon stuff had nothing to do with makeup. It was mostly organization stuff or kitchen stuff. Some fashion, but no makeup. The content of people buying stuff and hauling stuff and encouraging their audience to buy stuff does rub off on us as viewers, or it can. And one of the reasons why it can rub off on us is the dopamine. We can seek out dopamine hits, and we can do that through shopping. This is a really common experience that many of us may not recognize in ourselves. I know that I didn't many years ago, and sometimes I'll catch myself wanting stuff, and it will be after the fact that I realize, oh, this was just me seeking out dopamine. The important thing to know about dopamine and your reward system is that doing something a few times will give you a reward, but after a while, your brain makes a connection that X thing equals a reward. So you no longer have to do that thing in order to receive a reward. Your brain has already made the connection, and you can experience a dopamine rush simply in anticipation of a thing. Part of what makes addictive behavior so addictive is the dopamine. Addictive behavior are also usually dopamine powerhouse activities or things that give us like mega doses of dopamine. And it's part of how addictive behavior starts in the first place, or how people get addicted. We do something that feels so good that we want to do it again. And after you do it a couple of times, your brain makes the connection. Addictive behavior or substances release large amounts of dopamine. Spending money is already something that behavioral scientists have deemed a dopamine-driven behavior. And when you combine that with other factors, such as a deal, as an example, a sale, a limited time offer, a coupon, or other factors, it can amp up the dopamine and the high that we experience. Now, I'm just going to use myself as an example because I don't want to talk about addictive behavior in other people that I don't know, or say that because you do this, you are inherently addicted. But in somebody like me, who has previously ridden the dopamine roller coaster and who has previously forged strong connections between shopping and pleasure or shopping and dopamine, I am very susceptible to being enticed to shop. These connections are already strong. We certainly cannot say that everybody who shops or who uses affiliate links or who is enticed to shop by watching influencers, like we can't say that everybody experiences the dopamine roller coaster or is a shopping addict. However, I also know that I'm far from alone. And I think that the chase of the dopamine or the pleasure that we get from our shopping activities is why we watch these kinds of videos online. We can experience dopamine through watching other people, but we can also use it as an impetus to do those dopamine-driven activities ourselves. And I think that this behavior does fuel a lot of our purchasing. Or, as I said at the beginning of this section, watching content to fuel our own desire to shop. This last personal example is particularly interesting because it is very, very relevant to me right now. I found myself wanting to buy band t-shirt. And so I decided to wear one of mine today to kind of give myself some of that experience or some of that high, or try to recreate some of that without having to take an action. But I found myself wanting to buy them, and not just any band t-shirts, like band t-shirts from the late 2000s and early 2010s. And I was like, Shauna, you need to buy them. And I had this whole list of bands in mind, and I was like, you could go down the eBay route to find these early 2000s band t-shirts. It'll be so good. Just imagine having all of these band t-shirts from your favorite bands. Just imagine the nostalgia. Imagine opening your closet and seeing them. And I was like, I was I was experiencing a bit of a high. Like, I should say, I was feeling the high start to build as I was imagining and anticipating this hunt. I realized that earlier today I was doing some research for Lululemon, of all things, and that research started getting the gears going. I wasn't personally going to buy Lululemon, so what could I buy? And this connection, one influenced the other. And I found that particularly interesting. And I also found this one particularly strong because of the plug on nostalgia. Nostalgia is one that's a hard thing for many of us to resist, or we can find ourselves especially tempted via nostalgia. I know I was. And I was imagining specific shirts that I had previously owned, or specific shirts that I wanted to own but never got the opportunity to. And I was like, stars in my eyes. There are lots of ways that we can be influenced online, and these are just a few of them. I would really love to hear from you, and if any of what I've said resonates with you or not today. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me today. I would love to see you again around here soon, so I'd love it if you would subscribe to catch more content like this. I always forget. Did I say thank you? Thanks for watching. Bye.